Because there's a couple of good things that are good to review, talk about technique. We're discussing technique. So one of the things we're going to talk about right now is the vanishing point and one-point perspective. I don't know if you remember that. Do you remember that from your college days?
No.
So this is the most important technique you'll ever learn.
Okay.
So watch this. So one of the things to know, and I'm going to like preface this by starting with a little bit simpler. Let's see. So you remember as a kid, you learned to draw a road like this, right? You learned to draw a road like this. Did you ever learn how to draw a road like that?
I never took a drawing lesson.
But nobody ever showed you. Usually these little tricks get passed on. I remember being taught that if I'm drawing a road that's going away from me and it's on a flat surface, I have to draw it like this, right?
Right.
In reality, we know that this side and this side are actually the same size. We also know that the road does not actually rise up, right? Straight, it doesn't go up like this. However, that's what it looks like on a flat two-dimensional surface. So this is what we call a single vanishing point perspective. And what it means is that here, which is at the horizon line, where these two lines meet, this is eye level, right? This is the horizon line. And that everything that's below the horizon line will come to this same vanishing point. And everything that's above the horizon line will come to this. So not only does the road go to this vanishing point, but if I'm drawing a building, right, that building top will go to that same vanishing point. And the bottom of the building, right, which is here, will also go to that same vanishing point. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the side of the building and the bottom of the road here. If something's facing you, it is not going to go to the vanishing point because that's a different side. But what this means, so does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what this means is that our picture might actually not be, our photograph might not actually have these. I guess what it means is every one of these lines, we will find the vanishing point by putting these two, the car's kind of blocking it. So we're going to find the vanishing point by putting these two lines together. And then every other line is going to go to that same point where they meet. Even though this is technically tricky, once you understand it, it is like a magic trick. You will also see how to correct photographs because photographs don't portray life. So you might see that these lines are a little bit skewed. They don't all come to the vanishing point, right? That is the fault of the photograph because the photograph is not like the human eye. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is all just preface for showing you what to do. I'm not going to leave you on your own on this one. Here, I'm looking for a marker. I'll be right back. I need a marker.
Sure.
So the very first thing I'm going to do is figure out where my vanishing point is. And I'm doing that by measuring from the street here. I'm actually going to go right through the car. And then I'm going to use, I guess I could use this line as well. Oh yeah, look at this. This will be interesting. So notice I went right through. So this is the vanishing point. it's kind of where all your other lines meet. I'm just going to draw a few for you. Right there. So here, it's slightly off. There we go. No, actually not. This isn't too bad. But do you see how like, and actually to be even more clear, I'll draw I'm going to draw a horizon. This is a line that doesn't actually exist, right, in our composition. So I'm going to draw it as a dotted line. But I want you to see, so if I drew straight across, this is our horizon line. Everything that's below this dotted line goes up to this point. Everything, including the doorway. Including the bottom of the tree line. Right, the way the trees are lined up. Including the top of the tree line. You can sort of see the tree lines contained here in this one, including this, the top of the side of this building. So I don't want you to get all the detail in, but I do want you to we're going to start by identifying this point and sketching in these lines. Does that make sense? Does it make sense why we're doing that? So Pat, I'd like to see you, now that you've sketched your piece, I'd like to see you do that on your source and on your drawing. You can draw through the car. What I'm going to do is kind of, what I'm going to do, I'm looking here. I'm looking kind of at the, where this is the start. I know it's a little tricky to see here. There's the end, right? So I'm looking for this point, which is less than halfway, but a little bit more. I'm going to kind of guess. I think it's about here. 1, 2, no, higher. 1, 2, 3. Interesting. I'm going to put it about here. Sorry, trying to get that. So I'm kind of trying to identify where this is. And then, you know, as well, if you want to make yours longer, you could just kind of extend these lines out longer like that. See how I did that? So I'm going to identify where I'm going to put this sidewalk. And then I'm going to find, I can see that this line kind of comes up here on the corner on the other side. So now I'm going to draw the lines and see where they meet. I have a bit more. My thing is a little bit longer. I could move this back, actually. I'm going to do that. So here is our vanishing point. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then I can draw a line straight across, a kind of little dotted line. So if you want to do this on your composition, I think it'll really help. So the vanishing point is here. Is that actually at halfway? Ugh, I don't want it at halfway here. Where do I? kind of close to halfway. Interesting. Actually, I'm going to try something else here. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to move down my line on this side to about here. There we go. Now that looks, this looks pretty right. This shape is kind of what we're trying to get to. So I'm going to send you a picture of this. You'll get to see all my erase marks. Part of what's happening here is that the proportions of this are different than the proportions of this. You guys are going to be dealing with something similar. So we're going to be making a few corrections. So I'm, Geraldine, do I have you added to this list?
Yes, you do.
Right, okay. There is mine. Here's my sketch.
Mm-hmm.
There's mine. Here is this, which I think is helpful to see.
Hi, guys. Sorry I'm late.
Okay.
I have my handyman here today, so it's a lot of running.
Running around? No problem.
I had to go to the building to Lowe's to buy material.
You're getting a lot done. I've seen that.
Yeah, I am.
So, Pat, I'd like to see this line on your drawing to see how kind of close we are.
Okay,
And I'd like to see, Geraldine, I'd love to see these lines, your lines when you get them sketched in.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible, if we're gonna kind of extend this out, can you see how I'm doing this? I'm extending this out kind of beyond the edge of the paper, which I kind of need to do that. My car is going to be a little bit closer in. It's not going to be so close to the edge. I might need to add a little bit more of this yellow line and yada, yada, but I still think this is a pretty good way to do it.
I actually thought my vanishing line was in the middle on the top of the car above that one.
You better send a picture to me so I can see
I
it.
just did.
Oh, okay, let me take a look. I mean, that's fairly close, Pat.
Yeah, I've got some corrections to make, but I think it works.
Right? So that helps.
Yeah,
That helps. It helps to have corrections.
but the road, you were saying under 6 is more like 5 at the bottom of the page is more like 5 inches for me.
It may be different because you're
Yeah, I used a different picture than you're using.
yeah. Yours may be, I cropped mine a little bit, so yeah, don't stress too much about that. Geraldine, yes, okay, so let me see. 1, 2. Yeah, I'd say, Geraldine, I'd move it a little bit more. I'd move this line just a touch more to the left.
Okay.
You can see. So you've got it here. You've got
Yeah.
it here, and I'm going to suggest that you move it a little bit to the left. And
Okay.
I'm kind of checking. One of the things I'm doing here, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put up my screen so you can see what's going on. This is serious technique, right? Just to be clear. This is like, watch this. Okay, so if you can see me now, I am holding my arms straight. And I'm holding, you can see there's two things happening. You can see it on the one side, you can see on what I'm doing from the side. I'm actually lining my pen up. I'm not touching the picture. I'm keeping my arm straight and I'm lining my pencil up with this line on this side. And then I'm moving it over here to check and make sure that these angles match. Now
That is so hard.
I can't do this and this because I shift direction when I do that. I have to hold my arm out straight. And so when I held my arm out straight to yours, Geraldine, I could see it was a little too straight. It needed to be more at an angle like that.
Okay.
And once we get some of these lines in, we can start sketching that car.
My painting class.
All right, so. You know, something, I didn't do this when I was drawing this, and something that's really helpful to me
Yeah.
is, you know, the way you do it, my hand doesn't seem to be able to stay as in the same angle. But if you lie, if you put your ruler on the line that we just, what do you call those lines that we just drew?
The vanishing point lines?
Well, yeah, all those lines. And then you can move up your painting and check the angle of the, of like that building on the right. I can
Yep.
check the angle of those windows by
Yep.
using that line.
Yep. And look what else you can do, Pat. You can check things like, and you'll see this later, you'll be able to check things like this, like the shape of your window here, right? Because it's a little bit off. Right? You'll be able to check things like this because look at how it's contained within these, how that shape works.
So are you talking about because it's within those two lines?
Yep.
Yeah,
So you can make.
yeah.
It's pretty good though. I like your, okay. So Geraldine, how are we at? Let's see. Did you do another one?
I'll send it over.
Yeah, send it over. I get a lot less anal after we get these down, I promise.
No, of course, it's important to get them.
I know, and you might even only partially understand this, which is okay. I introduce these topics a lot. It's a lot of information to take in. You have to, it's almost like you had to have made the mistakes a bunch of times to understand the value of how this works. Let's see. So don't worry if you don't quite get it. Let's see, I'm gonna put it out here. Pretty good. Believe it or not, you could, I'm checking it now against this one looks good. This one's pretty good. I think it'll work. Okay, so now we've got, let me remove this so you guys can see it better. Right. So now we have, we've got these lines in. I'd like to see you just add in the street lines and a couple of the building lines before we start on the car. So right, there's this one here. It could go as far down as here, right? So I'm starting this maybe here. And because I know it goes below, I can actually even take a ruler like this, because I know where it starts. I know where it ends, right? I know where it ends. So I can just line it right up like that. So here's that street line.
Did you say the street line?
It's like the sidewalk line.
Oh, I forgot about the sidewalks. Okay.
Street line, sidewalk line. There's this one over here. Here's the end of the street, right? Now the car is blocking some of this. So some of these lines will go away. Let's see. I'll bring in, put in this building. So this comes, I'm kind of looking at where this ends. In relation to the horizon line. So here's the horizon line, and then here is this. Oops, I just can't quite get both of these things to be visually clear. I have to keep moving back and forth. Right, so this comes up to here. So this comes up here. So as I line up, I can kind of draw this in like this.
Come here.
The top of the building. Is a bit like, I'm gonna say it's like there. Whoops. Really go to them. These are really just guidelines. Many of them we're gonna paint over. I know it looks confusing. There's like a lot of extra lines that aren't there. There's lines that are going straight through the car. Oh, for heaven's sakes. And we're going to simplify this a lot. So there's no need to get all fancy. There we go. So this building, the sides of the building, right? This side of the building here that's turning away from us does go down to the vanishing point. But this line, which is the vertical that defines the edge of the building, that actually is a straight vertical line. You just draw that going straight down. So see, now I've created the top of the building, the bottom of the building, this sort of awning with the building. I don't think I need like too much more right now. I can also see that my tree line fits into my building. See that? So I can kind, anyway, later we'll be able to sketch those in. I am just debating whether we need anything else right now. I think at the moment, that's all we need to get started. We've got our side, we've got the street starting here and the sidewalk line here. We have our lines, the street ending here. So the street's really here and here. The car's taking up this part, right? It's kind of contained and moving within sort of this right side of the drawing. So now, here, a little bit closer. There we go. I want you to be able to see this. So now we're going to sketch the car because it takes up quite a lot of space and it's in the front. And now we have kind of lines to help us figure out where those go. So here's my street line. If I want to, I can draw another line here to get that little edge, right, going down. This is a sort of edge of the street. And I can see that my car I'm going to draw the outside edge of the car. I'm using a green pencil. It's not very visible. What can I use? I use the black. I'm going to use the black marker because I think that's the most visible right now. And then I'll use a colored area where it's dark. So once again, we're kind of drawing the outer shape of the car before we get to the inner shape. So we're going to start by sketching in this shape. And let me add in somewhere, I have silver. So here, where you can't see it, I'm drawing in where it's dark. Yeah, there we go. I'll send you guys a picture of this so you can see it. So that's our beginning shape. Geraldine, does this seem a little bit like what we did yesterday, but in a much more complex form?
Yes, definitely.
But it makes sense, right? It's kind of a lot. Good, so nobody's head is exploding yet.
No, because when you first see the painting or the picture, you think, I have no idea.
How to start, great, so you lose all ideas about what you think you should be doing and you're more willing to follow along. Yeah, that is true. Pat has been a very good student and has been like, has been working on this drawing for the past week already, so I think that's awesome.
Right.
Because she was introduced, we were gonna do it last week and then very few people came to class and then we decided to work on other thing. And no, then we decided to cancel class.
Yeah.
We did a little painting session, but we basically canceled class. I'm gonna move this over because we don't really need to see right now anything more than this. There we go. Okay, great.
But really, I find the more time I spend on this part of it, the less problems I have later.
Yeah. See, isn't Jody, isn't Pat a good student? That's exactly like something I would say.
I tell you how many things I've had to change with paint.
Right? And people, it's funny because people get mad, right? Because I told them, well, you don't have this in the right place. And then I'm like, well, here's how you solve the problem. And they don't want to do it. I don't want to do that.
It's
So
much easier to fix it in pencil.
Yeah. So I am, well, and it's easier to fix it if you've measured it. So I can see that kind of really actually the top of the car comes right to the, it comes right to the horizon line. Actually, the top of the car really is the horizon line. Hey, don't do that. Darn it. So I can kind of sketch a line here. And then I'm gonna make some guesses about where I think things are. And then I will correct them later. I'm coming down. Now, there's about 3 plane shifts here. And notice I am kind of using my lines to tell me kind of where things are. So I know that like the top of the car is here. I can do this kind of line down like this. I don't think I've got that right, but will. It's easy to get these things off. Yeah, it's more like that. Right, but I also know that this stops kind of about here. So that helps me. I'm kind of guessing on sizes, so I may have to go back. And then really, I'm not worried. I'm sort of going to the bottom of the tire. And I'm doing both the tires and the shadows for the moment. And then this is kind of a straight up line. So once I get this shape in, I'll then check things like, did I get stuff far enough? Okay. There we go. So I have that. Now what I want to see is, let's see, if I can check like this distance and compare it with this distance. I bet you it's about half. Let's just check that. So if I measure here to here, this is the halfway point. So if I were to draw a line kind of straight across the middle of my car here, we're going to find the halfway point. Here it's like 2, right? And then I go to the halfway point. It's a little bit more than halfway. Interesting.
A little bit more than halfway what?
The height of the car is a little bit more at the very halfway point.
Oh, it's okay.
So I found the halfway point here. So this should be, this was like, the height of this should be a little bit more. The height of this should be a little bit more than the halfway point of the width. That makes sense. This height should be about here. Here. I don't think I have these lines right, but I do know, yeah, that at least proportionally, things look pretty good. I'm gonna send a picture of this. I'm only gonna check a couple measurements. So if you guys wanna send this in, and so Pat, you can check that as well. Go to the widest part of your car, right here, find the halfway point,
Okay.
and use that to compare how high your car is from the shadow to the top.
So it should be a little bit more than half.
Yeah, not too much, but a little bit.
Hey, Leah, it's Nina. How are you?
I don't even know how to begin to tell you how to get started.
I know, that's what I was going to ask you. Sorry, I've just had a lot going on, and I was just, yeah. Do I
have
just follow the
things that
images?
you want to just work on?
Oh, do I have something else that I want to work on?
Yeah, I mean, you can try this, but I just spent like 20 minutes going over very detailed, like vanishing points.
Oh,
It might be
okay.
better for you to watch the video to do this later and do something else now.
Yeah, you have the video for this. Okay, great. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
so
recording
why don't
it.
you work on something else now that's a little bit easy, right? I mean, a little bit easier to get into. And then you can watch the video and catch up with this drawing sometime during the week. Does that work?
Yeah, that's
Right.
fine.
Excellent. Excellent. I just
Good.
think there's a lot, we just went through a lot of instruction about vanishing points, about horizon lines, about where to put your first lines, about where to put the car, and I can't summarize that.
No, I don't want you to.
Yeah,
but I'm
but I
Oh,
think
yeah.
you can do it. So, and also if you're kind of busy, it's kind of nice to have, you can work on, I mean, Diana's working on her own thing, Mary Ann's working on her own thing. Everybody's kind of, there's lots of people working on their own things. If you can find something to do that's easier and just send it across, that would be great.
Or do you want me to try to do this on my own interpretation? No.
Absolutely not.
That's definitely what she did to me.
If you want to, but,
Hell no.
I knew, I had a feeling, but I thought, let me just ask.
I mean, you could, I mean, you know what, Nina? Don't do what I tell you. I mean, do what you want.
I tell you. No, because then I think compared to the video, unless I'm teaching myself bad habits, that's the only reason I'm worried.
Yeah, that was my reaction too. You could do this, but it would be, there'd be a lot of things off about it. And then, yes, and then it would be harder to get into the right like frame of mind for this. But if you
Yeah.
did one of your watercolors, say, or you tried one of the other things that you wanted to do in the week, then I think this will be something easier that you can concentrate on later. And you know, you can always send something over to me. Yeah, let's not get bad habits. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. So thank you. Yes.
Although there is, if you were to try sketching this and see how off you get, that might actually teach you something too.
All right. I might try then.
All right, then try it. So you can follow along with me as you do. Just do it. And then you know, Nina, I noticed that you progress quickly from your mistakes. So I would say, let's make some mistakes. It's not like I haven't made mistakes already. Let's try. So anyway, yes, try it. Do it. Yes, do your best. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Oh, did you just want a close up of the car?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
you do not mind.
I think I came pretty close.
I think you did too. I mean, I could see it, that it looked pretty much right. By the way, Nina, it's nice to see you. Very nice. Nina, this is one of your colleagues. Geraldine is one of your colleagues from Mexico City, by the way. Nina's in Toronto.
Hello, Nina. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, she's on the TR side. So she's like the senior customer service. She explains how to use TR products to basically all of the TR clients. So
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, quite the job. Quite the job. It requires a lot of brain power. All right, yeah, Pat, that looks pretty good, actually. So I think what you just need to work on is the windshield, the window a little bit. You might try turning it upside down. Hey, that looks pretty good, Geraldine. So, oh yeah. Let's see. I'm checking a couple things. I'm liking seeing your halfway points here. 1, 2. 3. So these measurements are great. You may have to adjust this a little bit as we start to fill in the other lines, but I think you're in pretty good shape right now. Okay, so I'm going to try and sketch in some of those lines for you guys. This is kind of a shiny material, so it's more difficult. So this is the I'm going to try and outline the major sides. This is the back of the car, right? And then over here is the side of the car. Just act like crazy a little bit. This window is facing us, kind of like the back of the car, but also curved a little bit forward. So a different plane. And this is like the top. It's like the trunk, right? So it's facing the top. So these are the shapes. So back of the car, top of the car, side of the car, the sort of middle part. These two are different planes. One comes out like this. One comes out straight out like this, like a table. The other one goes up. So each of those shapes, to me, this looks like the easiest one to get. Haha, famous last words.
Leah, are you using a square? So it should be like, or is it okay if I use like 18 by 24?
I'm not using a square.
No? Okay, okay.
Yeah. Are you talking about paper?
Yeah, paper.
18 by 20. I think bigger is better in this particular case. Pat, you must be feeling pretty pleased with yourself right now.
I was thinking of other things I could ask you to help me with. I have a drawing that I did like in the spring, and then I never made it back for the actual class where we painted it. So I kind of wanted to run that by you.
Okay, later.
Yeah, later.
So you can see here, I'm kind of sketching. So here's the back of the car, right? I think what often happens with cars is that people forget about this extra side. This is like an extra side in the car, right? Let's see. So there it goes like that. And then this is kind of a straight line across. That.
Need to correct though over here.
And by the way, you guys don't have to use the same colors. You can totally, when we get to painting, you'll be able to choose what you want to do. I just thought the shape of this car was so neat. And it had so many great kind of characteristics going on with it that I was like, it would be really neat.
And that fin on the back seems hard.
Why?
Well, because it comes out. As opposed to.
All you have to do is look at the shape, and that is not right.
How many times do I have to tell you that?
Here we go. Not too bad, I think. And then there's the top of the car, and then there's this side of the car. The side of the car is interesting because it's so small, and yet, boy, That looks terrible. And yet it's so important. And this is the part that everybody gets wrong, this shape. In this particular case, it's like, it's that shape really right here. I mean, there's fins kind of all over the back. Although I say this is the front and the back, there's like places that dip in towards us, out, away from us, right? Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell does this person mean? I assume it's a dude. By no pity. What is that about? What is this about? So weird. You can put it in or not. You totally don't have to. I'm more kind of interested in the car shapes. You can put in the stripes if you want to, or you don't have to. That looks pretty good. And then in a couple of places down here, there's like a little spot where you can see the wheel kind of disappears. And also the wheel looks different on this side. It's kind of more like this straight on, but on this side, we see it from the side. Right, so we get that shape better by adding in this little triangle of shape. Mostly though, we can't really see the wheels. They're mostly kind of lost edges. Yeah. And the reason these angles are so intense and weird is because perspective is skewing them. So anything that's on the side is going up, right? So just like when we return to this road, right? We know this road actually isn't smaller here than it is here. And we know it's actually not rising up, but that's how it looks on a flat surface. So that's how we need to convey it. There's the language, Nina, right? The language of visual spatial, and particularly the language of translating 3D to 2D. The shapes look different because we can't draw back, right? So if we're going to create a feeling of the illusion of 3 dimensions on a flat surface, the shapes change. Yeah, Pat, it looks good.
Oh, making all kinds of changes.
Painting like sooner than we think. We'll add in the tree line and other things next. But I would like to see your cars. Just very simple. Nothing too fancy. And we'll work on this for a couple weeks. Notice that the side comes out a bit more here, right? Because we're not actually looking on it exactly straight on. We're kind of at a slight angle. So it's wider here than it is here. The best thing to think when you're thinking about issues involving perspective is it stops doing anything that you think it should be doing. Just tell yourself, oh my God, there's a perspective issue. What I think is happening is not really happening, and then learn the rules. It makes it easier. Still, it's hard. It's amazing how much the left brain just wants to get in there and muck with you. By the way, Marianne and Diana, and I guess that's it, who's doing their own thing. What are you guys working on? Can you send us a picture?
Yeah,
I'm working on a painting of my mother.
Ooh,
Here's the reference.
Oh, that's beautiful.
yes, please. And Marianne, if you, Diana will do this often, if you feel like you have something to add or you want to clarify something that I said, you should feel free to jump in and do that. You should also feel free to not have to do that. But if you want to, I welcome it. It's always good to have more than one person explaining things if you think you can, if you're like, wait a minute, no, I know the way to say this, that will make sense. So please feel free to jump in. I know you have a lot of expertise there.
I can only like paint organic things. I hate buildings. I hate straight lines. I hate roads. I can't do it. So
However, the lines that you have to deal with your mother are exactly the same lines we're dealing with this car.
I know.
You know what? I felt the same way about buildings, and I find them so fascinating now. It's just, I just can't get enough of them. I'm going to be sad when we go back to regular things.
Right? Well, we don't have to. Oh, Diana, there you go. It's the pink that makes it. It's the pink. That's just beautiful. So beautiful. Hey, is that yellow ochre that you're using, Marianne, as the base? What's the base on this one?
Oh, I've been priming, putting down a ground of, like very diluted yellow ochre on things lately.
Ooh, I really love it.
Yeah, I used to just use raw umber, like thinned out, but it's a little bit lighter, like brighter.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. That's exactly what I was thinking, is I was like, it looks like raw umber, but it's so light, and what a great base for almost anything.
Well, then the underdrawing, which my mother is still an underdrawing, the yellow background is actually painted. It's just a yellow house, but
Yeah.
that's raw umber, like on the yellow.
Marianne, you're totally using perspective to draw the background of the house. You've done it perfectly. Just laughing. You're like, I know I don't like it, but like you're still doing it. You've totally done it.
I just hate it. I can't, like, my buildings all look like they're gonna, like, if there's like a slight breeze, they'll all like blow away. So I just
It doesn't. So you've got the perspective around your mother quite nicely. So very nice. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, yes, I'm sorry.
Now in the right day.
Yes, yes, I've got very muddled the past 2-3 days.
Jill, yeah, go ahead.
No, I've been talking and commenting, but I just realized I was on mute. So
Oh, yes, please, Diana, hop in.
well, I don't know what it was I was saying, but I
Hi,
love
Diana.
that underpainting of your mother, Marianne.
It's really beautiful. It's really, yeah, it's quite arresting and kind of unusual in the color choices. I like it. Geraldine, this looks pretty damn good. The only thing I'd say is that your window comes down a little too low. And you know how I can tell that? Because this space is too skinny,
Okay.
right? So that's what I mean by things, you're focusing on the window and ignoring this because right? But you can't. You can't ignore this thing. So it looks to me like it's about halfway from the space from here to here. It looks like the line goes through almost like the middle of the vertical distance.
Sure.
Yeah, nice. But it looks like a car. It's good.
Thank you.
yeah, I'm zorning.
You're zorning? Yes, that's right. Because you've got a yellow, gray and black, and then red, right?
Yeah, I'm laying out the 4 colors right now to mix the skin tones.
Do you guys know who the Zorn palette? Have you ever heard of the Zorn palette?
And
I'm Swedish, so of course.
Yes. So the Zorn
It was
palette
Swedish.
is a limited, it's a Anders Zorn, right? His first name is Anders?
yeah.
Yeah,
Anders.
Anders Zorn And just look him up if you want to see some stuff. In fact, I might even take a moment just to find some Zorn palette stuff. So it's a limited palette of basically red, yellow,
Yellow ochre and titanium white.
titanium white. All your entire painting is done with those things.
Well,
And
the skin.
I love it. Here, hold on. I'll see if I can find, just because now you've got me.
An article, what it is and how you can use it.
Zorn palette. It's just I'm just looking for some examples of the Zorn palette so you can see how like incredible it is, like how much you can get out of it.
Yeah, and not just, lighter flesh tones, like, the whole gamut of.
The
and-
whole thing. All right, here's a great image. I'm gonna pop it right into, I think I can do it. I don't know if it'll show up. Okay, here's an image of the Zorn palette. I just sent this to you. All of this is done with those 4 colors.
I'm seeing something with green in it. I'm wondering how he got there. Because I can see the
Oh,
palette and it doesn't look like it's in there.
Green in it. Remember, Ivory Black has a little bit of blue in it. Like all those things are in those colors.
Yeah.
Isn't that phenomenal? Awesome. Thanks, Marianne. That's great.
The tones, like, I only use it to mix skin color. I don't use it like religiously for the rest of the
The
painting.
rest of the painting, yeah. But you could, in this one, you totally could if you wanted to.
It would probably look a lot better.
I think you'd be able to pull it off really well. But sometimes it's not fun to limit yourself with colors. So I don't know. Is your mom, I'm assuming is your mom still alive, Marianne? She is, yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that picture of her. It's great.
My sister sent it to me. It really captures her personality, like kind of her expression and body language.
Yeah.
So I give this to my sister if it works out.
Nice.
And that's my sister's dog underneath her.
Oh.
It's very beautiful, not on the painting.
Yeah, isn't it nice? Isn't it nice, Sandra? I agree. What are you working on, Sandra?
I thought I might finish the goat,
Oh, yes. Excellent.
but I don't know.
I was looking at your last cockatiel and really liking it. Why isn't that up on Facebook?
I wasn't that impressed with it.
I thought you did pretty good with the last one.
The charcoal one.
All right. The next thing we're going to check, by the way, is we're going to kind of, I think we should put in, so I like to do the drawings starting with where the kind of center of focus is for the painting. If I was doing this as a giant, like 4 by 5 foot painting, I'd probably want to get more buildings in. But right now, I think the focus is going to be the car and the tree. So let's see here. Let's put this in a little bit. So now that we've got the car in, I'd like to talk about getting the tree and the tree line in. So this looks a bit like this. We start with these kind of outer shapes. And we've also got this line, right? So these lines are vertical. It goes pretty straight up and down. The rest of these trees, because they're farther away from us, are best kind of sketched out as a group. Do you see this shape, this kind of uber shape that I'm building in? So we've got this one tree and then all these other trees sort of pushed in together. So that's the second thing in my mind that should be sketched in here. I'm going to take a picture of it so you can see the shapes really well. And Pat, you can kind of check and see where your trees are in relation. If you feel, Pat, kind of ready to start your painting, you can pick an underpainting color and go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll want to use one color and then a bit of Gamsol, right? To lighten and darken
Okay.
and to dry it fast.
I might try to stay with these lighter colors, which I never do. The yellow and the kind of,
Try what Mary Ann's doing and try something cool like yellow ochre as your base. That kind of might look really cool with this one. I may go with, probably go with the red. Or burnt sienna, I always like it, but you can do whatever you want, or you can do burnt sienna or whatever. You can get started. If you feel like you are, once you've checked everything, you like it, you can go on and start seeing
okay.
details. So how does this look? So the first thing I'm gonna do is kind of locate this point here. It's a little bit in from the top of the sidewalk. And once again, I know that this is gonna go straight here, right? I know I have to kind of guesstimate where it starts, but I know where it's gonna end. It's gonna go here. So my tree is kind of, my trunk of my tree is kind of contained. It starts here. And then here it is on the other side. And then I think the other line that's kind of significant is, now I'm not going to complicate things. I'm not going to complicate things. And you can see that the other tree trunks, this other group of trees kind of starts up like this. I'm kind of ignoring the stop sign right now too. We'll add that in, but probably later. Yeah, there. Right, that's how simple it is. And then if I were to look at where my vanishing point is, right, a little bit to the right of this. I'm not getting into too much detail, but I am kind of coming in here. There we go. And as I go back, you can see my trees get just kind of skinnier and closer together. I can finish also. The tree is definitely not an exactly straight up and down vertical, right? There's definitely a kind of organic movement. Let's go this way. I think I told you guys that my first drawing lesson where I really got great instruction was a tree drawing class I took in Seattle with the Gage Academy of Fine Art. We went out into the park and drew trees outside. And I just remember thinking, this is the best ever. How can it ever get better than this? There's a few leaves you can add in here. You can add them in now if you want. There's a few dark and light spots. Don't get too fancy though. Draw in groups. Don't try to get caught up in every individual leaf. It'll make you insane. We don't want you to go insane. Here is like another group of leaves.
No, Sunny.
If you feel like it, you can try and do the stop sign. I can tell you that stop signs are such a pain in the ass. Like it may or may not be worth it to you. And I don't think it's integral to the composition. So I've sketched it if you want to. Here's also a street lamp you can put in. It's kind of before all the groups of trees. Here's a little bike. Look at this. Isn't this interesting how like the top line, how all these like trees, they kind of stay within this little shape that we've drawn. So that's how you kind of know where to place the one in front of the other.
Leah, I placed my lines, and so should I just draw the tree? I hope
Uh,
they're okay.
Send it over to me and let me take a look.
Oh, I did. I did a while ago. I just didn't
Okay,
say
hold
anything.
on, let me take a look. Let me take a look.
I changed some of the lines though, but oh, I should have sent it to you again. Okay.
I think you should start with the car, Nina, and then you'll do the tree.
Okay.
Put the car in first and then do the tree. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good, actually. Good job. See, don't listen to me. You know you can do this better than I do.
I get so nervous. I do listen to you,
No,
right? As you're,
yeah.
no, I listen to what you're saying. It just sinks in slowly. So
No, and the reason I was just saying is this is a lot of information. Right, Geraldine? She's like, yep.
Definitely.
oh yeah, you know what? The week I've been having, I think this is nothing. A friend of mine took his life on Sunday. My ex is in the hospital again today. So
No,
I just
I'm so
a bit of a
sorry.
break. Yeah, there's a lot happening. I think the pandemic has really affected people. Because my friend, he lives in my neighborhood. He worked at ENY and he was a lawyer by training and did their tax writing. And I'm shocked. His girlfriend messaged me on
Happened?
Tuesday. So that's why I actually missed class on Tuesday because I was learning about the news and it really affected me. So
Yeah, that's very upsetting. I'm very sorry about that. That's very
yeah.
sorry.
Thanks. Yeah, it's just, you realize they say in general, mental health affects people in the pandemic, but you don't realize how much until something happens to
Right.
someone you know.
Right. Right. Do you know, was there any precipitating factors or do you not know that?
I think, yeah, he's going for help, his girlfriend said. I mean, I have another friend in his building and she told me to call him in August and I did. And I said, let's go for a walk and stuff. And I think he was busy or something. Then I called him another day and I said, let's go for a walk. And he goes, I'm eating dinner and isn't it raining? And then I emailed him a few times and he only emailed once, but it's not his usual behavior because he would email back immediately.
Right.
So I was told he was depressed or really down, but I was moving in with his girlfriend at some point. She was moving the location of her job. It's just very shocking.
It is
He's in
shocking.
he's in his
Kinda
early
awful.
60s, I think. Yeah. So I don't know. Something triggered. He's got his mom, his brother. I'm
Oh,
just like shocked, to be honest.
I'm so sorry. That's really
Aw,
sad. And
Yeah.
I'm always amazed because it seems like I actually think that if you're gonna, it's such an effort of will to make that decision. You know what I mean? Like it's a huge
yeah.
decision. Like how it just seems
It's something, yeah, I don't think you and I could do, it sounds like, right?
maybe not.
I think maybe that's why it's like, how do you get to that stage where you could do that? I can't understand that, to be honest. So
I do not know. I do not.
I have a friend that tried to commit suicide a couple of times, and he says that when he's in that funk, it doesn't matter that he has people that love him. It doesn't matter that he knows that he's going to come out on the other side. Nothing matters. It's just the only solution is to go.
And he feels like kind of a driving force towards that because that's a pretty active thing to do, right?
Yeah, and he tries to be open. He writes about his experiences. He worked for Maria Shriver for a while, so he writes on her blog about mental health and suicide prevention. But he's still, he knows everything intellectually, and then when he gets in the funk, it just doesn't help.
Yeah. Oh God.
I mean, if he was at Thomson Reuters, I would have told him to take art classes, but
Right.
it's to be honest. I think that could have helped.
Yeah. It's helped me. I don't know about you guys, but it sure helped me.
It is. And I feel like, you know what, things are slowly opening up here, that if he could have just lasted a little bit, because he photographs like local like art scenes in Toronto, and he's a really big part of the vegan community. Like he's very like, yeah, yeah, he does a lot in the community as well. So
How old was he, Nina?
early 60s. So
God. Way too young.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man, that's so sad. It is
Yeah,
sad.
sorry. I feel like I'm being a Debbie Downer. I forget I said
No,
anything.
we should talk about it.
I feel horrible. Oh my
It's
God.
actually important
Not
to
at
talk
all.
about this stuff.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. It's
Good to talk about it.
yeah, let's talk about it, and then you can forget about how hard it is to draw this fucking car.
Yeah. When you're like, Nina, it's hard. I'm like, sure, why not? Okay, not really. Not really.
Right?
I mean, it
So,
probably will be, but still, I'm gonna pretend it's not. Okay.
you know, I'm not laughing. I'm just
We know.
being silly.
Yeah.
No, like I think it's important to talk about this stuff. You know,
It's hard, like, because I've known him for over a decade. I met him in meditation classes, and it was just like, he's like, oh, you work at Thomson Reuters. It's like, yes, I do. And then, you know, I just feel bad for his girlfriend, because I think when someone takes their life, if there's a lot of people involved, it makes a huge impact.
it does.
So, like, you know, I think Diana, right? If even with your friend, yeah, it's just, you just think like the impact it makes.
Yeah, yeah. But as Diana said, I can also kind of see how, by the way, you're noticing that I'm adding these things on. I'm doing the same, I'm sketching in the top of I'm sketching to the vanishing point for everything on the side. Every piece I decide to include in, I'm like kind of sketching to the vanishing point. So these two doors felt kind of important to me. Are you going to reach out to her, Nina?
Well, I'm going to reach out to her again, because I'm also trying to figure out if I can get to India, and I'm having a really hard time getting a visa. I was at the visa office on Wednesday at 5 o'clock in the morning, because I was there at 8 on Wednesday or Tuesday, and they basically said, you're not going to get in because there's no appointments. They take walk-ins. There were 20 people in line. There were other people getting corrections, and they said, you know, ask these people what time they showed up. They said, this is our 4th time to the visa office, and we've been here. And he said, we came at 4:30 this morning, so we knew we could get in.
Right.
Because they don't have tourist visas. You have to show your parents are from India. And I didn't know I needed proof. So basically I like took the day off on Wednesday to go back home again to get all this documentation, and then to tell them to tell me that, you know, you're still missing a document of your parents' submission of their passport. And I'm like, they didn't give that out, right, in the 70s. So I said, like, what do I do? They're like, she went away for 10 minutes and came back and said, don't buy your ticket, and just in case. That's it.
Oh.
It's like a Kafka novel, right? Like, it's just, you know, you go to the internet cafe because there's one mistake on your form, and then you come back. It's just, you know, it's like an event. But
Yes.
I was very fortunate. I only had to go twice.
Yeah, you've had a shitty week, Nina.
I've had a long week, Leah. Yeah.
Shitty week. What can we do to make it better?
Oh, we're doing it. We're doing art. Yes, we're doing art. It's I think when it rains, it pours, right? That's just the way life happens.
It does seem that way.
Can I say something as someone who's been there?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all have a little psychic in us. When
Yes.
you think about a friend, call them,
Yeah.
because there's probably a reason you're thinking about them.
Yeah.
That's
I like
a
that.
very good way of putting it, Pat. That's a very good way of putting it.
And I can't say more because
Also-
I started to cry.
Oh,
Oh, it's tough. Yeah, I'm also looking at other roles at TR. So I was supposed to read a whole product management book like over the weekend and I can't focus.
Right.
And so I thought, oh, I'll miss art, but you know, I'm like, nope, I can't even read this
Gotta
book.
do, no, you definitely have to do the things that you do. By the way, Pat, this is ready to paint. It looks great.
Okay, I need to take those lines out first, all right?
Yeah, you can, or just paint over them. Just paint over.
Oh,
them.
that's true. I can paint over them. You're
Yeah,
right.
that's way too much.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
Geraldine, I'm kind of sort of sketching in, so I'm sending along here. I should stop to show you kind of what I'm doing.
Right.
But I think you're picking it up. Pretty
Yeah.
well.
So I just got my internet got cut off.
I
So
saw
I
that.
just missed the last 10 minutes. But
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
but anyway. Let's see.
So this is a 3-hour class. So we've got quite a bit of, it's really designed so that we can do big projects like these. So we can kind of work on things for a long time. All my classes used to be 3-hour classes when they were in person. I kind of find it to be too long on the weekdays. We could probably do with a 3-hour class, even on Saturdays. But I don't know. I just find it's a little different online. But this class is kind of a leisurely class, so we can take a lot of time.
But I also find it nice that people, if you have something else to do, people come in early and leave
Yeah,
early, or they come in after an hour and stay for 2 hours. I mean, it's that kind of, it feels very free.
Yes. Even though
As
I'm
long as you don't want the instruction.
assignment for those of you who are taking it, you do not have to.
I'm here for the community most. I love you people.
Aw.
Yeah, can I just show you my goat like this? Have I messed it up? Or is
Yeah,
it
hold
okay?
on. Oh, that's looking good. Hold on. Let me take a look. I'm gonna add the spotlight so I can see it bigger.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh, my.
Oh yeah. Good.
Nice.
lovely.
I like it. Can I see the source? Sam?
Yes.
I feel like something it feels like the legs might. Right. So make the legs in the front a little bit thicker. You can see even slightly thicker than what you've got it. There's a couple shapes there, like because those feet are in front and those legs are in front, they're going to be much.
Right. The
You
big
know what I'm saying? They're going to be much bigger. So
Right.
they're actually even bigger than you think they should be. But really good. Otherwise, I could just
That's
tell
the
just by
focus.
looking, but like really good, really
Yeah.
good.
You mean like have dark parts in it or darken the outline?
Yeah, darken the face, yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
just also mean that yes, there's some dark shapes that should be slightly thicker, but I just mean that in general, remember that the legs in front are going to be significantly larger than the legs in the back
Okay, thank you guys.
because of perspective issues.
Yeah, I don't know how much more I can work on this flower. I'm gonna send it to you.
Start something else, Diana.
Yeah. I'm gonna send a picture to you.
Right.
I mean, I could work a lot more on it, but it's like, yeah,
I don't think you have to.
I'll send it to you.
Hey, Leah,
Yeah.
you think a light turquoise would work as a
As a baby,
underpainting?
I'd love to see that.
Okay.
I'd love to see you try that. I think that would be really interesting. Love it. All right, I'm trying to bring this up. Now that I've kind of got a little bit of a sketch in on, I can see that, like, for example, all right, I see what I've done here. I really wanted to be accurate. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so if I really wanted to be accurate, I would bring my door higher.
You said Gamsol, right?
Yep,
Okay.
yes. Because the first layer you want to dry quickly so you can get. Now, Geraldine, as you're going through this sketch, I want you to give yourself the leeway to include or not include anything that you want. You don't, you know what I mean? Like you do not have to put everything in.
Right.
Including that stop sign. I hate that stop sign.
Yeah, take the stop sign out. I thought it looked kind of cool in the moment. Now I've got it in. I'm like, nah, I don't know if it really adds to the composition. I don't really think it does. I'm gonna
I keep thinking, why is that backwards? And why is that car parked so the stop sign is backwards? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Things need to make sense.
You're
Damn
right.
it.
That makes sense. I'll even-
Legally parked. Oh my gosh. Unless it's one of those weird city things where it changes every 6 months, where they change sides. I don't know.
That's funny. Oh my God, that's so hilarious. I didn't even think about that until you said that. So really the only way to work this would be to put stop on the front.
Make it red and go ahead and do the whole thing.
Do the stop and who?
But again, it wouldn't be on the left side of a road, would it?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Oh my God. Let's
One-way street. We got a lot of one-way streets.
But even so, that's not.
Oh,
what
that's,
is.
it wouldn't be on that. Oh, you're right. The corner's behind us, isn't it?
So we're editing to make this make more sense, editing. So we're doing that all the time with our paintings, editing. So we're doing that all the time with our paintings. It's beautiful, Diana. If you want to, Diana, you should look at the landscape that Marie just, or the sky that Marie just posted in
Okay.
pastel landscapes class. All right, I'm removing it too.
Ew. Oh, I have that sky that I started last week. Remember?
Kind of start and finish it. Yeah, so maybe do a couple of sky paintings.
Yeah.
People will want to, I mean, if you're still interested in making a little bit of extra dough, people will definitely want to buy those. So if your day job is it like, you know.
If it's not making me rich, no,
Yeah.
it's not.
Definitely not making you rich.
I still enjoy my day job though.
Leah, Marion says hi to you. She moved to her new house in Calgary, so hopefully she'll join one of the classes.
How did it go? How's she doing?
She's good. She posted a bunch of them on Facebook and she looks really excited. I think this is exactly what she needed. So I'm really excited for her.
Right. That is so wonderful.
Yeah, I'll miss her not being here, but
It feels like
yeah.
that just yesterday. It
Yeah.
kind of
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. Great for her. Yeah, new adventure.
Are you friends with her on Facebook? Because I'm sure you could see her house and her life.
I am not friends with her on Facebook.
Okay.
That's That's really great. By the way, I am moving over to the kind of right side of this canvas to see how much I want to add in. I'm going to use these guidelines that I put down to draw this first building to put in my tree line on the other side of the street. So what do I mean by that? I mean that my tree line is actually contained, as you can see.
Trying to find the sky.
And the other side of the street. And notice the tree line is really one big shape. Even though it's several trees, it's really like this kind of big yellow shape. It comes down here, but it kind of comes up. Like this. Looks like a balloon now, but we'll fix it later. And then you can kind of make decisions about how much detail. I kind of like this sign. I'll probably add it in. I'm probably not going to do all these windows, but I might do some. Do I even want to add in more buildings? Let's see. The buildings are like straight lines vertically. And then once again, anything that's on the side has to go to the vanishing point. So, right. So you can kind of add in as much as you want to. You can get as detailed as you want to. You can use your vanishing points to get the tops of these buildings, but it's not as much detail as you think. Like here. I'm being really lazy. I should totally draw in some windows. So I'm going to that same principle, right, of going to the single vanishing point. Because every single window, top and bottom, has a different angle. That's the bad news. The good news is it has the same ending point. So all you have to do as you come in here, I'm lined up with my vanishing point. And now I'm kind of drawing my window line here. Here's my bottom. See, here's my top. I know my lines are vertical. I know that the vertical lines get closer together the farther away, right? Closer together the farther away the building gets to me. So I can get kind of as much detail as I want to. Definitely want my street lines and street markings in. But yeah, there is a cityscape, kind of lightly, neatly sketched in. And we've created, so you get like, one of the things I'm hoping that you guys are able to start to see is that I don't have to paint everything to make it look kind of great, right? I can still create this illusion of city. I can still create, and really I only have kind of two major centers of focus. I've got the car and the tree here because they're up close. Everything else can be kind of more loose than you want to. I'm going to probably stop right here. And then when everyone's I know Pat, you're kind of running on, but for Geraldine and Nina, when you're ready, send it over. We'll take a look at it and then we'll start painting. This is great.
Here we
It'll
go.
take a lot longer.
The car is a little harder to do, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't feel beholden to follow the same color sweatshirt my mother's wearing, and I was wondering if you had any thoughts on how to.
Let me look. I love color questions. Oh, you don't like that? Oh, what about red?
Oh,
Because, I mean, I was just thinking that if you get the blues in everywhere else, you'd have this kind of neat primary color thing happening.
right.
You have the blues of the dog, the sweater's red, the background is yellow. Is that too like non-subtle?
I don't know. I have like a kind of like a lot of like murky purpley grays.
Now
And
that's
then
nice too.
So, what?
That's that, you know, those colors are really hot right now in fashion. The murky purpley grays. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
They're huge. So anything kind of heathery and grayish, greenish, purple, that also would be great.
Hmm.
And they're beautiful colors. The reason I'm thinking about that is that I have a friend who runs a shop and I help her sometimes. And we have all these beautiful sweaters that come in these absolutely stunning grays and purples, kind of very unusual colors, and they're beautiful. They look great on people's skin tone. So if you wanted to do that, I think that'd be a great instinct. Does anybody else have thoughts on the color of the sweatshirt?
No, I can't pull it up right now, so I
Hold
don't.
on, looking. Oh yeah, I think it's good to change it from that blue.
It's
Yeah,
just
maybe a purplish gray would work. I think very well because it would go well with a yellow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it would.
It would.
A little on the purpley side as opposed to the gray side.
Yeah. There's a t-shirt I got from Eddie Bauer to work out, and it's exactly the color Leah mentioned.
Right?
And I think
Oh,
it
show
would
it.
look really nice. If I can find it
yeah?
on the Eddie
Now, you
Bauer
took a
site.
picture of it, Nina? That would be awesome.
Yeah, if I can find it on the Eddie Bauer site, I will, but I don't know because it was on sale, so it might not be there.
Can't you send us a picture of yours?
Oh, yeah. Let me get it.
Oh, I can do that.
It's funny. It's really interesting to see how the colors change fashion-wise from time to, from place to place. It's all these kind of olivey, it's all grayish colors.
Yeah, I was speaking to my mom the other day and she was just she was going to buy a coat or something. And she said, "Oh, it was so depressing going into the clothing store. They didn't have anything else but gray clothes, just gray clothes."
It's so true.
I had the same thing happen buying furniture last year. You didn't